What if your thoughts were the most powerful medicine that you had and you didn't know how to use them? And guess what? It's something that you can do at home. It's something that's free and something that's available for everyone. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Gut Feeling podcast, where we digest modern medicine with old world wisdom. And today we have a really exciting topic, a really special topic that we can begin to understand how our mind really affects our reality and affects our health. Today, we're going to talk about how positive thinking affects our health physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you're having digestive issues, chronic stress, or just feeling stuck, this episode is for you. Positive thinking isn't just woo-woo. It is your biology listening to your beliefs. And how can we explain this? Through a concept called neuroplasticity. Have you ever heard of that term? It basically means that our brain can rewire based on our belief system. So if I constantly think, oh, I'm sick and I'm tired and I'm never going to get better, or I feel awful and it's hopeless, or my relationship is terrible and I will never have happiness in my life, or I will never find anyone in my life, or I'm doomed to be in debt for the rest of my life. Whatever our belief system is, our brain follows along. So if we believe it so strong that we say it to ourselves regularly, and that we have an emotion associated with it, like feeling anxious or feeling sad, we can actually rewire our brain to create that reality. So if I feel my illness is beyond my control, I will never get better, well, that sends messages to the brain, and the brain will release chemicals that will actually create inflammation in our body. The good news is that we can do the same thing with positive thoughts. If I truly believe that I am going to get well, completely healthy, I'm going to be recharged, rejuvenated, energized, and I say that to myself, and I believe it internally, I can't fake it. You can't fake your brain, but you can, if you are able to shift your belief system to create a feeling that it's already there, which would bring joy and hope and happiness. And those emotions attached to those beliefs can shift your brain in the positive way. Sounds crazy, but there are already studies that have proven it to be true. In 2007, in a journal called Brain Behavior and Immunity, there was a study that showed that people with a positive belief system had a lower inflammatory marker, in particular IL-6. In 2005, another study was done that actually showed that positive thinking can affect the immune system, can improve an immune response when someone is stressed. Yet another study showed that optimism is actually linked to a longer life and fewer chronic diseases. So basically, your thoughts can train your brain. Isn't that amazing? Now let's talk about the gut for a second, my favorite topic. Your gut doesn't just digest food, it digests emotions. Your emotions affect your gut directly. It affects the function of the gut. It affects the motility of the gut, the motion of the gut, and it affects the microbiome. So when we are happy, have positive interactions, when we are in a state of joy, when we have good connections, compared to sad, depressed, anxious, and so on, we have improved motility. We have a better functioning gut, meaning how does the gut move? How does the food move in our gut? So when we eat, we take a bite, we chew it, and then we push it to the back of our throat, and it goes down through our food passage called the esophagus, into the stomach, through the intestines, and then out the body. But that doesn't just happen by gravity or randomly. There are specific kind of muscular contractions that are coordinated and that need to be of a certain strength and caliber. And if they're not, well, things don't work well. And you can see that very clearly in the large intestine, because if it's too slow, the person can be constipated. If it's too fast, it can be diarrhea. If it's too fast in the The small intestine may not be able to absorb the nutrients properly. If there's improper muscular contractions in the esophagus, it can cause reflux and heartburn. So the movement of the gut is very much related to the function of the gut, and that is very much related to our emotional state, as well as the microbiome. We've talked about the microbiome all the time, but we change our microbiome regularly. Our microbiome is so affected by our community, by our friends, by our feeling of loneliness, by our feeling of joy and happiness. All of that affects our microbiome. It affects the positive emotional states, make a more robust microbiome with good bugs that actually help our body. And the opposite is also true. On top of that, chronic stress can directly cause inflammation in the gut, causing all sorts of issues, such as bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and so on. So how can we reprogram our brain to achieve real health? What if your diagnosis is real, but your healing potential is even more powerful? Unfortunately, the way our medical system is designed is that we give names to things, and that gives those diseases and illnesses a lot of power. Even the word disease, we can just say imbalance. We could just say we haven't reached our goal yet. We can just abstractly discuss it. But because the medical system relies on nomenclature for communication, for billing, for ordering tests, we give names to these diseases, to these conditions, I would say, and that gives them power. And then the person starts to believe that they are a victim to that disease. So many people call themselves blank patient. I am a cancer patient. I am a Crohn's patient. Well, why does that define you? Why can't you just be a person who hasn't yet reached their health goals? And your root cause is unique. It's not like everyone else's. So calling two people with the same condition is actually inaccurate because we're basing it entirely on external symptoms. Because the root cause is always different and the root cause is always unique. So this system has created powerful diagnoses. But you know what? Have you heard of the placebo effect? The placebo effect is very real. In fact, when we do clinical trials, we need to take the placebo effect into consideration when we actually look at the result of a specific potential medication or a treatment. For example, part of the effect of a treatment is the person believing that they can be healed through that treatment. And it has been shown that if you just give someone a pill and it can be completely inert, it can be a sugar pill, that can affect them being healed. So much so that when we do clinical trials, we have to have a placebo control. A placebo control means if I am looking at the effect of a certain pill, I have to give one group the pill, the actual pill, and one group, I have to give them a pill that looks exactly like the other pill, but is inert. It's just sugar typically. So it doesn't have any physical effect, but it looks the same. And the people are not told which is which. That is done in order to really gauge the effect of the medication that is being tested minus the placebo effect. It is used all the time in medicine, but why don't we use it in a positive way to benefit us? Why can't we believe that our body's enough, that we can heal, that we do not need to be suffering forever? If the placebo effect can make us believe that a sugar pill can help our diabetes, high blood pressure, you name the disease, why can't our belief system affect our body? Your body is wired to heal. Belief is the spiritual and biochemical trigger. What can we do practically? The first thing is we become aware. We become aware of our thoughts. We become aware of how much we program ourselves in a positive way or in a negative way. And first, we observe it. Then the work can start. Once we realize where we are sabotaging ourselves, we could start the work with breathwork, with breathing, with deep breathing. Whenever we feel anxious, with deep breathing, whenever we go into that mode, we can do a positive visualization. This is a very powerful tool to visualize yourself as if you are already healthy and you have achieved your goal. But It has to be done for real. Can't be faked. You cannot fake it. You have to feel it. And it takes time and it takes patience. So you keep visualizing until you can generate the emotion that you would have if that already existed. And there are always powerful, supportive tools like journaling, really trying to understand yourself, writing to yourself, writing from your higher self to your fearful self. Speaking to the fear as if it's not a part of you. Speaking to your body and asking, what is it trying to tell me? Disconnect from it. Don't internalize it. Look at it as if it was in another person. And finally, things like nature, like the beach, like the forest, like spending time alone in stillness. Those are all very, very powerful tools to connect with ourselves. And this is real medicine. And finally, we can speak to ourselves over and over again until we believe it. I am whole. I am healing. I am worthy. So remember, your thoughts and your beliefs affect your brain, which affect your hormones and affect your neurotransmitters, affect your gut health, and affect your immunity. Positive thinking is a legitimate and powerful tool for health. It is not a gimmick. You are not broken. You are becoming. Let your mind be your medicine. Choose thoughts that support your healing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like this, please subscribe and share with your friends. We have so much more on wholegut.com. Stay healthy, stay gutsy, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.